All right, let's look at the daily problem and see what we can do here. This is going to be kind of a difficult one. Those knights are all over the place. So the thing you have to look at this, the most important thing about this one is that, well, most people would jump into the moves. Do I queen the pawn or not, or do something, whatever. Really, this is a board situation problem. The board situation is fairly clear, but you have to know how to read it. What boils down is essentially you can't queen the pawn to a queen, because at the very least he plays bishop e6 check and then bishop takes queen, you lose. So realistically we have to make a third knight now, because that knight queens with check. The thing is, we cannot exchange the knight for a queen. It's not enough to win. We have to checkmate this guy with 3 knights. So this is the key. So it really doesn't matter. Once you properly evaluate what has to happen, we just go ahead and queen this with a knight. It ain't rocket science, baby. It's pure logic, like Mr. Spock. So now this is where the problem really begins. Because using logic, I just came up with the first move. So I don't have to project this visually in the visualization sense. We've got this, take the obvious, 1 + 1 is 2 kind of scenario. We understand that, and we're going to do that and then remove it from our calculations. So now we really need to check this guy again. So the question is, I think clearly knight on b1 goes to c3 check, because when we check this guy with this knight here on b1, on c3, it creates this wall on b4, 5, and 6. His king cannot pass this wall. So this check forces king to a3 or king to a5. King to a5 just loses. So we check him here. King a5, knight b3 is checkmate. All right, that's game over for that guy. So knight goes here to c3 check. He has to go to a3. So now we got to check this guy somehow. I don't know. I guess knight d2 to b1. Man, it's hard to see all these freaking knight. Got a knight on c3. We're going to have to swing this knight over here. So basically, everything you see on the screen is it. When he's here, c3 blocks this and this and this and this and this. A king blocks that. He's forced to go here. I believe it's checkmate. So there you go. Oh, he's just checkmated. Our knight on d5 guards b6. The knight on c3 guards b5. This d5 knight guards b4. So again, we have this shut off. Knight b3 check. Game over. But this is it's super complicated, because the knights, and they throw up all those different squares and what have you. So it's not difficult on one aspect, but it's very confusing, to your eye. Go back and look at this again. So like I said, this was a board situation problem, because to win this game, the only way you could win it is to play with a knight. You queen the pawn b1 equals knight check. It's the only way to win. Everything else loses, because he would just either bishop or queen check you right here on e6. We properly evaluated the situation. It led us to our moves pretty easily. Like I said, knight c3 was clearly obvious when you look at it from the context of we're going to make this wall right here. He's not going to go king to b5. Not today, buddy. I still think king a3 is slightly more dangerous, but we check him. I don't know. Is that maybe it's mate? Maybe king a3. Maybe knight b1 is absolutely. Is that checkmate? Knight, king, knight, knight. Yeah, it's checkmate. So king a3. That's why he didn't go to a3. It's so visually confusing. He doesn't go to a3 because it's checkmate. Well, going to a5 was checkmate. That was the one that I analyzed first. So this one, when you see it in action, it looks super easy. But doing it yourself is harder than it looks. So, but it was a really good problem. So, like the problem, comment, tell me what you thought. Subscribe so you get more of these because my lessons are good. Tell your friends, but don't tell your enemies because they'll use my lessons against you. You guys know what to do. I will talk to you later.